What's good, y'all? It's your gearhead, Mr. Logic himself, and you already know if this is your first time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Allow me to introduce my lovely co-host.
Hey, you guys, it's your girl Nate. Welcome to our humble abode.
Welcome to we're welcome, and it's your boy Sir Zen. You already know what it is. Back at the bus like always. Nothing new.
Yeah, my cool jacket.
And as you know,
that jacket is not cool. That jacket makes you look like a predator.
You're not cool. Oh, take that back right now.
I mean, the truth is the truth. Call a spade a spade.
Take that back right now.
Okay.
Cool
Take
kid,
it back.
cool kid from the 90s.
You know, the cool kids in the 90s were all definitely rapists, right?
Ah,
They definitely were. And all those movies.
can we?
Attack of Revenge of the Nerds.
It was
was
Revenge
a lot
of
of
the Nerds.
sexual assault. And
Fucking-
like that shit happened now, them dudes is behind bars.
Right? Dirty Dancing, American Pie.
No one puts
Fucking-
baby in the corner.
yeah.
You're 30 years old, she's 16.
Like,
Yeah, the 80s and the 90s were wild. Just keep in mind,
Back to the Future. He was literally raping his mom in the fucking.
no, his
Dude.
mom came on to him.
No. I'm talking about
But
when.
that's
Matter of fact,
crazy.
let me
I'm
introduce.
talking about towards the end of the movie
Uh,
when like the dad punched out Biff because he was.
Hi
you know-
guys.
Hi guys, my mistake. Didn't give a proper introduction. This is one thing for sure. Two things for certain. We just really got into it with the. Yeah, Ben, you made a very valid point. Like the shit that was going on in those
Yeah,
movies,
not okay.
like
Wow.
creepish, stockish. Like yeah,
It's so subliminal.
Bro, I watched.
but we
this-
didn't come out too fucked up.
I mean, I wasn't born in the 90s. Or I wasn't.
Technically, we were, but we
yeah,
weren't raised
I
in
wasn't,
the 90s.
yeah, I wasn't raised in the 90s.
Raised in
Gen
2000s.
Z ass motherfucker.
I was watching this movie called Raging Bull with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Not Al Pacino. What's that fucker's name?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. There you go. And remember in the movie he was fucking his women up. She was pretty cool.
Yeah. Nah, it was definitely wild back then.
That movie was,
because
it
as
was
I think
interesting. Yeah.
when you think about those movies like The Outsiders,
Yeah.
Roadhouse,
Oh, the Outsiders were great,
Roadhouse.
dude.
yeah,
I love the Outsiders.
nah, like
Stay gold, 20 gold.
Revenge of the Nerds. What were some movies that were like borderline? Back to the Future was one because Biff was literally gonna rape this girl.
Yeah.
Or
Just
sorry.
like out of pocket.
Out of pocket nowadays, yeah,
Yeah.
problematic.
like he was a bully
Yeah.
and the father was a creep.
The father definitely
He
was
was a peeping
creep.
Tom.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, is it really bad if you're peeping on your future wife?
yes.
She's your future
Weird.
wife.
I
at
don't
that
give
point,
a
you know?
damn. That is weird, man.
I guess. I
Like, there-
suppose.
Because out of context, someone who doesn't know, they're gonna be like, "Fucking creep."
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, imagine what would you do if you found out your partner was secretly stalking you before you got with them?
I mean,
Oh wait. Oh.
does your partner treat you right?
It doesn't matter.
Wait,
So-
hold up. I
So-
have an answer.
so-
Because I thought you were going with, oh, what happens if you found out your partner was spying on you before you got together?
That's
Yeah,
stalking.
that's what,
Like as a minor though, like as a kid, because could you said about like
yeah. I mean, if you found out your man was watching you go to sleep without you knowing, watching where you go to the gym
Yeah.
24/7, like, or your girl was doing,
Yeah.
like,
I
would
think
it
that
mess
if,
with you?
I think
like,
that if
you
my
break up with them?
boyfriend had a device that he would go back in time to when before we got together and he was just admiring me sleep, I would love that.
Okay, so
that is like
I would say this. How do you think that people got to know people back in the day before social media? They literally would follow them around and they'd go to the spots that they know they'd be. And then
no, the fuck
yes,
they
they
did
do,
it.
bro. Literally, it's like, oh damn, this girl Lisa, she's so cute, yada yada. And your buddy be like, oh yeah, she likes to hang out at the yada yada. And you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna start heading out over there.
Oh, yeah, they
That's
see it in the
literally how they would
movies.
do it. Back in the day, before you had already available cell phones to reach people, you had to fucking hunt people down.
I mean,
I mean,
You're not
mean-
wrong.
oh,
Because I do have homeboys out there that like, yo, party's whack as shit. We know why we're here, dog.
yeah.
She's gonna be here. That's why you wanted to come. Like, I can honestly say there's truth to it. Like, if I know there's a girl I'm interested in and I found out she's going to like a certain club, yeah, I'm gonna try to parlay my guys to go there. But to indistinctively make a schedule,
teacher. Oh my god. Okay. I saw a video on TikTok where people were like, "Oh, instead of meeting your hope to be soon future partner
Mhm.
on like Tinder or Bumble and stuff like that, you create a LinkedIn account and you look for your potential mates on LinkedIn, and then you try to find them. You can probably cross reference them on like any dating apps, and then see like
What they do for-
track their
yeah.
locations by their social media. So if they're gonna have a lunch meeting, then accidentally like bump into them at that same restaurant, like you're picking up food, and then you're just like, oh my god, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry
but
I dropped it.
People don't really use LinkedIn in the same way that they use Facebook. They don't really like. I mean, at least
I know what you mean. 'Cause I have LinkedIn.
Facebook is a yearbook.
I
Yeah.
have LinkedIn and it's just professional. It's not like like how you use social media, but
Yeah.
like I mean, I thought it was funny how people were like, you know what, I want to find my mate on LinkedIn
Yeah.
because at least more of their professional background.
Honestly, I'm gonna say it like this: how dried out and depleted would your love life have to be to where you would actually consider finding someone on LinkedIn? I mean, because then people will be like, "Oh,
Wait a
you see,
minute.
I already knew that." Like, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I already knew you were gonna disagree, but I'm saying that I know that there are people that would disagree. And my thing for that is like this, bro, because you go to LinkedIn and you see someone, right, and they have a fucking title on their name or whatever, and you think this is so impressive or whatever, and their posts are yada yada. But it's like this.
Saw smoky mirrors and
Yeah,
shit.
anybody can fucking lie on anything. You know what it says on my LinkedIn, on my profile? It says I'm an information technology cybersecurity specialist. Right? That's what it says that I am.
Bull.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, I kind of am though, right? My
I'm
field is
kidding.
IT.
You want to hype
right.
it up. you know?
Exactly.
I kid you guys.
What would you say for someone that's a
Ben's very
dishwasher?
smart.
They are an underwater ceramics engineer. or
Oh
whatever,
wait,
right?
what do they call janitors now? Fuck, they call them something.
Custodians,
No,
there's like
because it's a very fancy
engineer.
It's like a
custodial engineer.
no,
I don't
it's
know.
like a hold on.
like
Yeah,
a
it's a proper title
Yeah,
to it.
something maintenance.
Maintenance
yeah,
specialist.
yeah,
or
something like that. It makes it
like that,
sound
whatever.
so like, oh, I want that guy to work for my company.
Exactly.
I
You know,
mean-
so, and on top of that, right?
Mm.
My thing is only, I believe, not even women, but only men and women, people who are looking for someone for status. And this is my opinion, right? I could be wrong. There could be success stories on looking through LinkedIn, but I believe that you would go to LinkedIn if you were looking for a sure shot in regards to like the money sector.
Wait, but Jason sent us because he likes to send us story times and other assholes,
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
our group chat, and you sent one in regards to this, and I was like listening to it, and this guy, I don't know how he met with his girl,
Mhm.
either before or after the LinkedIn stalking and stuff. He was like, oh, like I want this person to be mine. So through their socials and like LinkedIn,
And
they ended up,
people they go FBI mode, yo.
they go FBI mode, purposely like meet their future partner,
Yeah.
and their partner's like, it to them, they're like, oh, we met by accident, and like they're still together 3 years later, about to get married or about to have a kid, and he
Mhm.
still hasn't told her the truth on how they really met. Like he was like stalking her.
There's a movie called Lord of War with Nicolas Cage where he's like he's a gun runner, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
his wife, he literally did that. She's a Russian model. So when he started making money, in the movie, he actually rents out an entire hotel, but books her for a shoot to purposely cancel. So they're the last two on this hotel. They're only there. Then he actually almost goes nearly broke by faking that he has a private jet.
Oh.
Like this man literally went and swooped and got her. But that's literally still happening now.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like the reason I say because I know people who are married through like eHarmony.
Yeah. But, like, what's your opinion on that?
But what I'm saying is people, for the rare occasions that someone would, for whatever reason,
someone.
stalk someone, try to get them through LinkedIn. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like literally, what are you doing?
But like when they try to argue their point and their perspective, it'd be like, okay, it sounds reasonable, but it sounds crazy.
It's not reasonable unless you're actually with that person.
It's not
Like
logical.
unless you actually got with that person, then you're just another crazy person.
Yeah, that's why. That's why it's like very. Oh wow.
I mean, I always
But, like, how would you feel? How do you feel on that? You know, you have a friend and they end up telling you, yeah, bro, you know, I
met her on LinkedIn, dog.
she thinks we met at a coffee shop, but I actually been, you know, stalking her because I saw her on the bus a few days ago or whatever, and I didn't tell her the truth because I didn't want her to think I was a creep.
I've actually been in situations like that, and I'm not proud of it.
Or when you've been the creep?
No.
Oh no,
Then
you
how are
were the
not proud of it?
I'm the only one with a car at the time. So
Oh yeah.
so it's there's
Oh.
actual dudes that I know, which is kind of crazy. I think I don't want to call it a phase, man, but there's some, and women do it too. Cause I had stalkers, and it ain't nothing to brag about. Like, it's scary. It is really scary because it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? You live in Homestead. Why the fuck are you at the Walmart here? Okay. Why are you at the gas station? Why are you at a party where you don't know anybody?
I can't party. I can't get gas. What's wrong with you?
I'm telling you,
You're
bro.
being mad weird, Jason.
No. I mean, there's when somebody, people, it doesn't matter male or female, people could be very fucking persistent, and they'll disregard personal space and a whole bunch of stuff. Like me, as I tell people, like, I think it's important how you meet your partner in the setting. So, like, as a ground rule for myself, like, if I meet you at a party, chances are I'm not going to take you serious, because it kind of tells you how the relationship, in my opinion, is going to go. Like, if you meet somebody in chaos, chances are your relationship is going to be chaotic.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is, okay, where my best standing with individuals that I dealt with, like the shorties I dealt with, when it was in a professional manner, they had more merit to the relationship I had with them, versus the club.
Yeah,
those were like literally flings because it was chaos.
Bro, I remember,
you know, like, you're in the club, you're drinking, you meet that person, you're not so much, it's just like a phase. But if you meet somebody on a professional level, you get a better understanding who they are, what they're about. You start looking deeper past the looks. When you're in chaotic areas like a club or a house party, it's just straight up.
Marvin says, and thank you for tuning in, Marvin. Marvin Rowland says, I met my wife at a club. Look,
okay.
I love that.
That's my boy. His wife recruited him. Okay.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you something. I love Marvin. That's my big bro right there. He's also the one who snapped my knee in playing football.
Rip.
Marvin. The reason why I say she recruited that man, listen, when a woman wants a man, she gonna make it very clear.
Oh yeah.
I call it being peed on.
Oh yeah.
And women are very quick to mark their territory without the guy knowing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they'll mark their territory.
You say it, Jason?
No, I had a shorty. I remember when I was going to the studio, shorty basically peed on me. Like, she literally peed on me in the sense of, like, the other shorties there, they would not give me the time of day or say hello. And I found out because she's like, yo, that's mine. That's all me. Ooh. Like, you all operate that way. For us guys, it's like fair game, Doug. First one to it gets it. Make her call out my name for me. Like, that's all you can do.
I don't remember whose birthday it was. It was something related to someone's birthday. And I remember going out to the club. And
Marvin apologized. It's all good, G. You know, a couple screws.
It was one of our buddies, one of our coworker friends. It was her birthday. I remember we went to the club, and there's this one girl. There's this one girl that was chatting me up at the club,
trying to riz you up,
bro. And I remember, like, okay, the music's playing, everyone's dancing. You know how, like, when you're with your friends and you're all dancing in a group or whatever. And I remember, and I'll never forget this. This girl cleared the space and then just fucking busted a split right on the dance floor. And I remember seeing that.
Nope.
I remember you were there. You were definitely there. And I remember seeing that and just revulsion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's like, bro, fam.
I was like,
I'm not a giddy up person.
Bro, I was literally like, damn, you are not gonna get married anytime soon.
You know what?
It be like that though.
When I don't experience something, I try to play the scene in my head,
Mhm.
and I'm finding it
Bro, you
very
were there.
easy. I'm finding
you
it.
saw it.
I know.
You saw it happen.
I said I'm finding it very easy to picture because I'm like,
But-
wow, it's almost like I
but
was
you
there.
know-
But I remember, but I don't remember. You know what I mean?
Bro, you
Guy,
saw it
my
happen.
guy,
You
what
wanna
do you
hear
want?
that? You wanna-
What do
you
you
wanna hear
want?
that?
I guess, but I remember at the end of the night,
What was I
she was
wearing?
you were wearing like that one cute white top, remember?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Here's the
I think I
thing
do-
though.
I think I do
Men
remember.
love whores. I don't care. Every guy walking this earth likes a whore.
Maybe
And the reason why I say that, we like seeing it, but we don't want to deal with it.
I was gonna say that maybe
You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
like as
Like
window,
visual, yeah,
like
like if you're being slut, I was like, oh shit, look at this, look.
Because,
But
no,
I don't. It's
it's
like,
like not even me. It's like if I see someone
Mhm.
acting like out of pocket, I'm gonna go, oh, that person's acting out of pocket. Because it's not like it's
well, I
it-
say
it's
I say it like this, like hoes or
Yeah.
promiscuous women
not hoes, not even hoes. All right,
or sluts, whatever you want to call
sluts, whores,
They're-
I'll
charlatans,
apologize right now.
Jezebels, huh?
them. Jezebel.
Jezebel.
Okay, we'll say
Apologize to
Jezebel.
the whores.
So those type of women is like a pack of bread. It's the first slice of bread. Everybody touches it, but ain't nobody want it.
Yeah.
And that's literally
I
what
heard
that
that
is.
saying before.
So it's like, when
You're just saying it very weird.
This event happened long before I started dating my girlfriend. I like to make that clear.
This
why,
happened.
why are you
This
blinking
happened.
your eyes
No, no,
like
no, guys,
twinkle, twinkle,
guys,
little star?
this
Morse code.
This happened at a time when Ben was like, I can't get a girlfriend because I don't have a car.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
that was your move.
That was his
Yeah,
face.
it definitely was.
You know what? I feel that because right now that's how I feel not having my own spot. Yeah.
No,
I
bro,
remember just
No, no,
yesterday,
no,
Ben
it's-
was saying
it's
we
gonna be a
were
dry
like,
season.
oh, do you ever grow in your life, whatever, and he was like, nah. How do you expect me to keep a girl if I don't even have a car?
He didn't want to be the stereotypical black dude.
Yeah, whipping around in his girl's
Nissan
car, bro.
Altima.
Yeah, borrowing his fucking girl's car, bro. That's crazy. That couldn't
Hot
be me.
boy summer.
Yeah, for
you
real.
know what I'm saying? No,
She's
but
putting gas in it,
oh my
not
god.
me. Know what I'm saying?
Speaking of gas, come here. Get some brownies. That
Why are you talking to it like that? You sound like a serial killer.
because it's fucking brownies.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Brownies.
Brownies that the lovely Ben's girlfriend Lauren made, and I don't know how to open this.
Okay.
Ah,
All right, Cookie Monster. Got
Okay.
damn. Go ahead.
that one.
Boom, boom, boom.
But yeah, it's a crazy.
It's revolting. I hate it.
Okay, so like you get to a point where it's a phase. You grow out of it. Truthfully speaking,
You know,
grow out of it.
honestly, I would hope.
Most people grow out of it because when you're young, everybody wants like the hot girl, and you know what I'm saying, the one that's being real hoish around because it's a status. It's like, yo, yeah, she's bad, but as you get older, it's like, yo, this shit can't represent me, like she's outlandish, like yo, I don't want dudes knowing where her birthmark is. Like I can't earn no stripes off of that. And again, it's not to live your life however the fuck you want.
it's
but,
not impressive to fuck a hoe.
yeah,
It's
But-
just not. Because your boy's gonna be like, damn, it took you that long.
yeah.
These are gas.
Are those normal brownies?
These are really good.
I see you guys are looking like fiends right now.
But yeah, bro, I remember I was talking to her,
Mhm.
and I had already decided in my mind that I was like, as soon as I'm out of this girl's sight, I'm gonna fucking book it. Because ugh, I remember we were leaving the club, like
Mhm.
we were all like gathered up and we were leaving the club. And I remember seeing her walk up to the bouncer because he was like, "Oh, you can't leave with that drink."
Mm.
She walks right up to the bouncer and fucking licks his ear. Just fucking all sultry, right? And, licks it. And I remember I caught that and
What
like
did he do?
I didn't, nigga. I booked it. I left. I saw it in the corner of my eye. I'm just going
What the fuck?
and just marching right out of the fucking club. And I remember thinking to myself, that was one of the last nights that I was like, yeah, this isn't. I can't keep fucking staying in the
Nah,
place.
it's not to take shots at them, man. It's really
No,
not.
I'm taking shots. That was gross.
because the same
was
thing,
so
guys
out
be
of
doing the
pocket.
same thing, man. Like there's just thirsty dudes out there who really don't have no self-respect, where they get with the plata sucia, who's walking barefoot. Pata. Sorry.
You said plata.
I'm
Plata's
a
money.
gringo. Okay.
That's okay.
So it's pretty much what you like. But on that note, how was your day? Like,
I'm gonna bring that to you. My day's a lot better now with these brownies. Thank you, Lauren. Oh, you guys, that was delicious. I mean, if you guys can taste it,
if they could taste it.
they can taste it. My day was okay. Ah, you're spilling, bro. Here. It was okay. It was just work.
Okay.
Shut up.
What about you, Ben?
I made that song I showed you guys.
But I made a
Yeah.
song, you guys.
Yeah. It's-
Rate the brownies 1 through 10.
What?
Rate the brownies
11.
11. I'm gonna.
But
be
Jason
honest.
is the real taster.
Brownie. Here's the thing with brownies. Some people like brownies that are crispy, if you know what I mean, like on the edges that got
Some
that
of the
little-
edges are crispy and the soft, and the middle is soft.
And me personally, who's not really big into chocolate,
Chocolate wasted.
Chocolate.
they look good.
So yeah, I made a song. It's called "Racist." It's gonna be out nowhere.
Yeah,
And,
because this is for our ears only.
Yeah, it's a pretty disrespectful.
Song meant to be
True song.
satire. And
Meant
what
to
was
be
the word? And what
satire.
was the word you used? Ironic. or something?
Ironic, yeah.
Yeah.
Ironic. Ironic is the new.
Well, we know
wave.
how the internet is, so no.
I could play it for you guys though.
What you think? What you think?
Mm-mm.
Did you just eat the whole thing?
Ah, damn.
Did you?
Yep.
What the hell, Jason? Were you
Well-
Ben, Lewis? Were you recording that? Damn.
I gotta be honest with you, Lauren. These brownies you definitely did a great job on. And the reason I say that, they're moist. They're not too fudgy, like they're
Moist.
well balanced. Good shit. Good shit. I rate them a 10. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't even like chocolate like that. Real talk.
Aren't
But
you
if
chocolate?
it's good, get your mind out the gutter, woman.
He's caramel. I'm chocolate. All right.
You're dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate's
you
the
that
best
bitter
chocolate.
chocolate. You're
I'm-
like
I'm-
cacao.
Ooh,
It's
ooh.
cacao.
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
you're milk chocolate with caramel in the middle.
This man's no. He's a milk dud.
Okay.
He's a fucking what was a Rolo? He's a fucking
You-
Rolo.
You remind me of those dark chocolate with like raspberry
The raspberry filling.
filling.
Yeah, I'm that Dove chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like.
But it's alright.
I don't like to think of myself as a treat. Just weird.
What else? What? You're a
Because they have like
motherfucking-
pink tones under,
Yeah.
you know.
This nigga's a Toblerone.
Oh wow. The fuck is that?
Chocolate.
It's like it comes in a.
Is that the one that
a
you like
3D
that look like a
triangular-
triangle
Yeah.
and it has
Triangle
a
and it's
bear, not a
long.
mountain?
I don't
Yeah.
know what that means.
Like the emblem is actually a bear. It's not a mountain. People
Yeah,
think
yeah.
a
It's
mountain,
a
but it's
sideways bear. Yeah.
I guess.
All right. So, as you guys know, a lot of things have been going on. Today I actually want to open up with you guys, get a heart to heart. This is the last day of June, which is mental health for men. You know, mental awareness. And the reason why I want to bring this up, I actually thought a lot about this. I have lost a lot of friends in this lifetime. And I have lost 2 friends. One that was really close to me, one that was a childhood friend. What I want to do is basically bring a better understanding, being that you're a woman, get your point of view on things. If Ben feels comfortable to open up about his trauma and whatnot. So I would like to dedicate this conversation that we're going to try to make as resourceful as we can and try to really narrow down the part to my boy Michael. May he rest in peace, and to my brother from another mother, Maurice, aka Technique. Miss him big time. That was my wingman. I try not to get emotional about it because people don't understand when you talk about suicide, it's a sickness. It's a very, very ill sickness. And you get to a point where you're such in a dark place, somebody has to pull you out. Now, there will be anger, there will be sadness, because to me, I love my boy. That was my heart. How bad was he hurting to feel like he had nowhere else to go? And then it makes you think, could you have done anything else? You know, could I have been a better friend? Why didn't you reach out? Like, where was I? Because in the bike world, as fucked up as this sounds, I'm used to getting phone calls like, yo, so-and-so died on the bike. That's expected.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got that phone call and I said, well, how did he go? I'm thinking someone cut him off and whatnot. And one of the club members is like, no, he took himself out. So, I definitely, it hit because I can honestly say I didn't see it. And I don't know if that makes me a bad person. A lot of times we blame ourselves because we wish we could have done something different. And the reason why I say that, I honestly didn't see it. You know, usually you see, they say like, you know, those who have unfortunately taken their lives, they're smiling, they're happy, you know. And taken from that, like my boy Michael, you know, he had 2 kids, one on the way, took himself out. Why don't we open up? Why don't we talk about it? You know what I'm saying? So as we get deeper into it, I know, Ben, you've been through some shit. I think everyone in this room has been through some shit. But when it comes to like males, us men, right? What do you feel we're lacking to honestly open that door where it's like, yo, cry to me, or I'm here for you. You're not by yourself. Why is it so taboo for us to open up and to really express ourselves? Like, what is it? Because if you think about it, especially in this generation now, we are more emotional than we ever been. And suicide is all-time high. But why is that? Like, what you as a woman, right? Like, do you have conversations that you check on your man, like mentally from time to time? Do you ask him like, how are you doing? Like, I'm not trying to, you know,
No, yeah.
because the truth of the matter is, if you don't, like, a lot of times us guys, we go through a lot of shit and we don't speak on it.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds childish saying it, sometimes you have to pry it out of us, you know? So like, being that you have a man, do you actually ask him how he's doing mentally?
Yeah, sometimes. So, okay, so to answer the 2 questions that you asked me, the first one, yeah, occasionally I will ask how my guy friends are. I actually, you know, I think this was like a year ago, 2 years ago. I was hanging out with one of my guy friends and we were just talking, and I was venting about my personal issues and he was venting about his personal issues, you know, kind of like, you know, you're friends with someone and all of a sudden you just like, I mean, word vomit and vent.
Just to go to the comment, it's going to take generations to change it. We are the first generation to acknowledge mental health in males. So as it's a start, but it will be a few generations down the line before it becomes normal.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. Well said, Marvin.
And so whatever. So I'm like venting, you know, about my personal issues and be like, oh, you know, I just need to talk, maybe some advice. And, you know, I like to think I give my friends an open space to talk about their feelings with me. I want to make them feel like they can trust me and that they can just talk and I can just listen. And so sometimes, you know, when I'm venting about my stuff, like I'll you know, invite my friends to vent with me. And so that's what he was doing. And towards the end of the conversation, he goes, oh, you know, Nat, I don't really talk about my issues like this. You're probably like the first person I told this to. And I was like, oh, for real? He's like, yeah, you know, and he said the oh, you know, being a guy and or a man, you know, I don't really talk about this. I kind of just push it down and
swallow it.
Yeah, you swallow it down. And I'm like, damn, like, you know, if you ever need somebody to like vent or, you know, next time we hang out, like just talk to me. Like I'm not gonna judge you. We've all been through our own traumas. And I have another friend who, you know, suffers from anxiety and then he takes, you know, medication for it. And sometimes we plan out or like we used to plan out plans to hang out, and sometimes he would cancel. And
Introvert, like
and then-
cancel, or like
he
last minute, like I just don't want to go anymore.
like last minute. I mean, last minute. He's not having a good mental health day. Like he just wants to lay down in bed, and he just doesn't like want to go out. And so occasionally he's told me that, and I'm like, hey, it's okay. I understand. We do not have to go out. I know your social battery is very low. You probably just want to stay in with your dog. And, you know, sometimes we do hang out, like he does vent to me, and it's like I invite you to hang out because I know sometimes you don't at all. You'll go a week in your room if you want, if you would have to, if you want to. So just inviting you out to lunch, you know, getting some fresh air, getting a bite to eat. Because I know that it helps, you know, just getting
get
out of
out
your
of your
room,
head.
to get out of your head. And to answer the second question, my boyfriend Ray, he actually does take anxiety medication, and he did struggle a lot with his mental health issues in the past. And it was very hard for him. And he was, you know, when he was finally opening up about it, he was expressing how difficult it was, not just, you know, because then you also have medication issues if you have the wrong dosage, and then it takes twice as long to try to get better. Or even doctors who provide you the incorrect dosage, and it's clearly fucking you up, and you know that it is, you know, where you know that even though you're struggling with your mental health, you know you're not going crazy, but everyone around you is like, nope, the doctor said you have to take it, you're going crazy. Like, you know,
You start believing.
you like it's like you're driving yourself crazy at the thought of what's supposed to make me feel better isn't. And it's like, I can't even imagine having to go through such a struggle. You know, people are already, you know, finding it difficult to open up and express that they need help. So when they finally get help, it's not helping, you know.
I mean,
But I always try to be there for my friends because I know how hard and difficult, you know, struggling with their mental health can be.
I think. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I try to hold a level of transparency with all of my friends. I don't believe that anybody in my life, they wouldn't feel uncomfortable coming to me if they have any problems. I think it boils down to I'm gonna say this for me personally. I think it boils down to when you have problems in life. It reminds me of a chart, right? And it's do you have a problem? Yes or no, right? And then if the answer is yes, is can you do something about it? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then you do something about it and you stop worrying about it. The answer is no, you stop worrying about it. If you don't have a problem, then don't worry, right? So whenever something comes across in my life and I see it as something that's problematic, and you know, I just ask myself, can I proactively do something about this, right? And then I just go along that thought process to its logical conclusion, whatever the outcome may be. And how my outlook to it in regards to mental health is sometimes when people go through hardships or when they face adversity, they more so focus on the adversity rather than the solution to it. Then you could turn around and say, you know, this is like the classic thing that you hear plenty of men say about women is that, oh, when women go through problems, they don't want solutions. They just want to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, I think it's very necessary to talk about your problems. And the
to
thing
get a
is,
foundation and an idea.
exactly. And I think the problem is, if we're gonna bring it back to men's mental health and why don't men open up, it's because there isn't any healthy outlets for men to open up. There isn't really a tried and true method that can be, I believe, that can be applied to the most general, you know, populace that would assist in, you know, being able to talk about traumatic things or talk about your problems, right? Because I think, you know, all the stuff that's going on now, how feminism is taking over, and then you hear these progressives, they're saying that men are allowed to cry and they're allowed to feel emotion and stuff like that. But then at the same time,
it gets weaponized.
Yeah,
against
exactly.
you.
At the same time, you see all these people, these vocal people, they're going online saying that you don't have to be the traditional man anymore. These gender norms are what's destroying society. But then you turn around and these very same people, men and women alike, if you were to do something like, I don't know, you start fucking crying because somebody said some crazy shit to you that really hit home, or something crazy happens and you're not dealing with it in the way that you're expected to, then all of a sudden all these negative terminologies start coming out, like, oh, you're not a man, you're right. It's stuff like that.
It becomes like a stigma behind it.
Literally,
because it's I call it a placebo. And
but before you go, I just want to say, essentially, in the modern era, there is no way to win, right? There is no way to triumph over mental health awareness for men, because the very same people that are saying that men's emotions matter are the very same ones that saying that men's emotions don't matter. I remember seeing this one video about there was a men's health awareness seminar or event being held somewhere in like Sydney or whatever in Australia, and feminists just pulled up and they shut it down. They're like, why do they were just
I actually remember that.
They were upset about that, and
that men were actually finding an outlet and they protested against it.
And the same thing with like
a couple years ago.
What was their excuse?
Because it was a basic attack on women, and that
they're like,
women should be the one that should have feeling. Men are supposed to be strong, and so.
But these are the very same women that like they want their men sensitive and all that stuff. And like
that is a crazy.
It's hypocritical.
It's just crazy progressive backwards logic. And I know there are plenty of people on the left who don't think like that, but unfortunately, the vocal majority, at least, are the ones that make the progressives seem like they're a bunch of like backwards logic crazy people.
Right.
And the same people, they're coming after Jordan Peterson, and then on the Matt Walsh, right? That's another guy that I watch. It's a Daily Wire, and
even Cardone,
and
Greg Cardone is another one. The Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I was gonna say Andrew Tate is on the extreme side of all of that, right? It's like I see like a rubber band. You can only pull it so far before it has to snap back into place. And as a result of that, because of there's been so much adversity for men's mental health, right? It should have been, we can all calmly sit down and talk about it, right? But because there are people that are like, men are the worst, men suck, we hate men.
There's a facade behind it. It's all screen tricks and whatnot.
Yeah. And that turns around. And when you have these extremes on one side, right, saying that men suck, men are the worst out of y'all, like kill all men, right? There are literally people who go online and say kill all men, and at the very same time, if you come for them, you're a piece of shit, right? They have the more high ground.
You can't take what you dish out.
And so on the extreme side, that's when you get people like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate,
I don't even think they're extreme. I think
they're just speaking.
They're speaking. Anytime you speak your mind, you're gonna get looked at crazy. And the reason why I talk about it, like I even had to think about this. I'll tell you guys straight up. I suffer from severe depression. I'm on medication for depression and whatnot. I come from a lot of trauma growing up. I mean, a lot of trauma. And nothing hits harder than mental trauma. Because the scars that I have on me, they heal. They'll always be there to remind me. But the mental part is seared into your head. And the reason why I'm really like, I honestly had to think about this because it's a very sensitive topic. So I hope sharing a little insight of what I go through. I don't know, Ben wants to show what he goes through. It's an effort for us to like, this is what's going on. Because I could tell you, I'll be smiling at you like this, and I'm not happy. Here's what people like, at least for me, I'm speaking from my standpoint dealing with depression, it doesn't go away. I could literally be just working, doing what I got to do. For that 2 minutes, I'm right back at where it sucks because you worry the family that you have, right? I don't open up to my mother because that's my mom. She worries about me enough. You understand what I'm saying? So there's that weight, that barrier that is on us. And this is my opinion. Again, educate me if you think I'm wrong. We have a social setting of rank that we have to uphold. You know, when you guys hear me talk traditional, that has a lot to do with it. You know, and the truth is, it gets harder. And being that suffering from depression, it's not something that goes away. No, it can be on your mind 24/7. Even in my hat, I could tell you right now, I've gone through birthdays where I'm happy, but I'm not happy. You know, you have to talk to somebody. I know that sounds crazy because I'm hypocritical on that one because I don't talk about it. But in my defense, I don't see how you can help me if you haven't experienced what I've gone through. You understand what I'm saying? It's like relationships. How can you give marriage advice if you've never been married? How can you speak on love if you've never been in love? You know, you can only speak for what you've gone through. And as it gets deeper, and using myself as an example, you know, yeah, you could tell when I'm not happy. But I have to remember, like, it's a fight. We all check out the same way. But that depression turns into a sickness. And the truth of the matter is, I actually thought about, I don't think for most men, the problem is loving. Loving is easy. I could love you. I could love you. That's a problem. No problem at all. Where I find it hard as a man is to accept your love because I don't know if it's real. See, I could give you all the world, give you all my life, give you all my love. The pressure comes is yours real? Because a lot of times people will take that from you. It wasn't sincere. It wasn't real. And then there's always leads up to embarrassment too, where a lot of men don't open up whether they're happy in a relationship or, shit is going on. Like, I think I said before, it's real when you tell your family what's going on. That's when the TikTok starts and, the relationship is going to come to an end because you got the family involved. But for a lot of men, we have this facade where we try to be the ideal man and take care of everything and bite the bullet and try to go through with it. But the truth is, it's difficult. It's very hard because if you speak on it, people think you're soft or you're not credible anymore. It's like what's the word for faulty? Like you're compromised. Mm-hmm. So I see that, women go through depression too, but even as we speak on it, one of the things I see a problem is like society has become way too broad, where it used to be if you talk shit, you get punched in the mouth. Right. Now shit is basically taken to the extreme level where you got cyberbullying. You know what I'm saying? You got
that's just
people that you thought you could trust, telling them your secret, you could trust them, and nobody wants to have their words used against them, especially when it's innocent.
Yeah.
Like if you tell a deep secret and this is somebody that you trust and they turn around and throw that back at you, it's more damaging than the actual trauma that happened. You know what I'm saying? So like, what do you think has to happen Like, where does it, like, where do we actually stand up? Like, okay, yeah, okay, we know we have a problem. Women outnumber men 5-1, but we lead in suicide.
So I would say this. Change like that isn't really gonna happen in our lifetime because in order, and this is just like my take on it, in order for it to really change, there are some social constructs that have to be degraded in order in order for us to have something that is truly general in a way to where it can help everyone, right? And what I mean by that is because you know what the gender norms, right? They're slowly being disintegrated, but there are still people that believe that you know, certain, you know, the male or female, their brains work in the way that's undeniable to their biology, right?
Okay.
Men are the analytical ones, they're stoic. It's important
Naturally.
yeah, naturally. But it's also important for men to practice discipline. I think for men at least, that you can vastly improve your mental health if you improve your discipline. I think true freedom comes from being able to have full control over
when you say discipline, break that down.
so I would say like
discipline in what sense?
I mean, so right, like what's it like
behavior,
no, yeah, exactly.
Functionality, responsibility.
Because essentially everything comes down to behavior, right? To patterns
structure.
or yeah, right? So if you can tell yourself that you're going to do something and then you do it to the best of your ability, not even if you like achieve it, but if you did it, right? And you can tell yourself that I'm going to do it and then you do it, you follow through, right? If you can discipline yourself to do that, I believe, because it's like this. I don't think that to actually be happy is a thing. Like, I don't think it's important that someone be happy. I think it's important that someone is able to find happiness, right? To recognize good, in order allow themselves to feel the good, right? Because we all have bouts of sadness, or just the undescribable kind of weight that you can't get off your shoulders. You know, we all go through it. There are people who go through it harder. There are people who go through it chronically. But I believe that where we are in modern society, you know, we got ourselves fucked up because we think that we're supposed to be happy all the time, when in reality
that's not how it works.
That's not. It's
you
not
don't
real.
have your ups and downs. You have those storms.
Yeah, you don't know good without the bad, right?
Well,
And if you believe that you have to be happy all the time, then you'll just create a never-ending void within yourself. If you recognize that you're supposed to feel all emotions, you're supposed to be in all states of being, then you'll appreciate more.
I agree.
when you feel these things, right?
I agree.
Well, I have a so you this one's for Robert. If you're watching, what's up? He had told me something because, you know, at the store he's always happy.
Yeah.
You know, he's always giddy up and
Robert.
So I had to, you know, me being the person, the asshole I am, I was like, yo, my G, like, what's up with you, bro? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, my G, it could be fucking raining cats and dogs and you'll be wet and you're happy as shit, bro. Like, it's almost creepy.
Yeah.
Like, you come in happy every fucking day. And it's not that a nigga's envious, but it's like, yo, where do you find it?
I get you.
You know, so he had told me he lost his brother. I didn't even know he had a brother. And he told me, yo, he went through it. He went through it. And he said he's never going to allow himself to feel that low ever again. And I said, bro, that takes strength.
Yep.
It takes incredible strength. So if you watching this, G, yo, I respect you to the highest power, dog.
Yo,
because
let me tell you, because, you know, when you first meet Robert, you think, oh, this guy's so happy.
It's like SpongeBob.
It's almost
I
like
describe him as SpongeBob.
annoying, because it's like, you know,
what are you so fucking giddy about?
Yeah.
what are you so fucking happy about, huh? And after time,
Misery needs company.
after a lot of time, you know, you kind of get used to it, and then you're fond of it. And then one day he's not there, and you're like, wow, I kind of miss Robert.
It made the difference.
And it made
night
a
and day.
difference. And it's like, it hits you because it's like, oh, you know, deep down, you know, you're grumpy, but consciously you're just going about your day.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
The-
and then you meet someone who is just incredibly happy all the time, having a positive outlook in life, and then deep down you're like, damn, I'm kind of envious because like I want that.
Yeah, it's like the gym. When you see
The-
somebody swole,
like,
you're looking
damn.
at it from
Yeah.
a distance,
Like-
but you're not seeing how much effort and work was
Yeah.
put in
He's true
to
yeah.
change your perspective, because our reality is what we make it.
No,
He's
it-
truly
honestly,
a positive influence.
it's I would say that it takes a lot of practice to forcefully shift your perspective.
Mm.
You know, like when someone is like upset about something or sad about something, and you know, people joke about this when they're like, bro, just stop being sad. And they're like, oh,
Yeah,
Right,
why not?
but-
you know,
but here's the thing, right? Here's the cheat
Mm.
code.
Mm.
It is literally that simple. It is no. See, I get what you're thinking, but it really is that simple. I'm not trying to downplay trauma. It's not like
No,
You-
no,
right?
I don't take it
No, yeah,
as
like-
that. But when
but
you
like,
say
you-
it's
you-
that simple, yes, it is a switch. But at the same time, there, because the trauma's there,
Yeah.
right? That's where you could be happy for that split second, but your mind goes right back to it.
But here's the thing.
And you have to keep cycling. And in some cases, where I ain't gonna put my boys out there because I'm not the only one. They tell me, they start running out of reasons.
Yeah.
And that scares me because I don't want to get that phone call again. You get what I'm saying? So when you say it's because and it could come off offensive when
Yeah.
you think about it, because nothing's more insulting to a person than speaking on their behalf without their experience.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why it's such a delicate situation when you talk about men's mental health,
But I would
because it's isolated.
I would see it like this. Because what I don't want to be misconstrued is to what you don't do, right? You don't ignore the feelings. Don't ignore them. Feel them. But as everyone says, you choose how you react to your feelings, right? You choose
Do
how you
you?
react to it. You do. Honestly, you do. I believe that if you have enough self-control, you can truly take control of your reactions. I'm right. Imagine somebody says some crazy shit to you, and then you ever like when someone says something that gets you, you just feel like a ringing shoot throughout your entire body because that one
You got
hit a
triggered.
fucking nerve. Yeah. You make the choice to lash out or do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you feel it, you feel the feeling, but you don't let it take you, right? Because that's not who you are. So I would say this, right? Well, the reason why I say it's simple
Mhm.
is because, I've had my fair share of fucked up shit happen to me. I myself am an overthinker. I take myself to very dark places very easily because I have a very vivid imagination. My brain is always going, right?
Mm.
And if I acted on the thoughts that I have, I wouldn't be right. You wouldn't believe it. As you see me now, if I were truly acting on my thoughts, you wouldn't fucking believe it because it's like, damn, I had no idea this guy was just like a wound up ball of just fucking nervous energy, right? But it's like what people say with meditation, your thoughts aren't who you are, right? You just let them pass and you choose which ones that you actually act on and that you react to. So, and it takes work. It's not like you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna figure it out.
Takes effort.
It takes work, but you have to be willing to put in the work. Like I tell everybody this all the time. You can't make someone want something. They have to want it.
You can't make you can bring a horse to the river,
exactly.
but you can't make it
You
drink.
can only nudge them. Yeah, you can only nudge them along until
Okay.
eventually it clicks for them. And so what I believe needs to happen is that we need to be more open to these pathways to nudge people to help, because sometimes people take it the wrong way. We're men, right?
Mhm.
If someone, because me personally, if someone were to ask me, "Oh, Ben, are you okay?" Or like they try to like talk to me like on the mental health side, I don't like being analyzed. Me personally, that is a huge pet peeve for me. Don't fucking analyze me. If I want to talk to you, I promise you I will, because that's just the kind of person I am.
Mhm.
But if I feel like what I'm going through is something that I can actually handle on my own, then I won't talk about it. But here's the thing. sometimes the things that I am going through, I don't recognize that I can handle them on my own, right? So it would
sunk in
yeah,
place.
right? It would help if, and it would help a lot of people if, you know, they were able to express themselves without having to feel like they're betraying their character.
Well, okay, so your character is character is true, right?
Yeah.
You said reactions come out naturally. You cannot fake a reaction. You could fake a action, but you cannot fake a reaction. You either fight, flight, or stay put. It is what it is, right? So my question is, because I think we all have that homeboy is like, well, you don't know what the fuck I've been through. Speak up.
Yeah, how can I know? I can't read your fucking mind.
But there's, I don't know if you want to blame it on society or a person's own thoughts, because again, I hear what you're saying. Yes, it needs to be open air where, you know, at least we try to change it within ourselves, right? Like I'll tell you, yo, you want to cry.
Yeah.
If you hit me up at 3 a.m, I'm there for you.
But the thing, but I said you have to want help, because the thing that's most annoying is,
well, baby that doesn't cry doesn't get fed.
Yeah, like when you try to reach out to someone and they reject you. Like honestly, I would, me personally, and I know this is fucked up, right? But I strongly believe that you can only reach out for so much before it's a lost cause. And I know I get it.
I disagree,
you know,
because of my
up.
experience.
Yeah.
It's based on the individual.
Yeah, because honestly, it is. But at the same time, right? There is really, everybody always thinks that they're gonna be the one to be the outlier, right? To be the 1 in a million chance, right? So if everyone thinks they're the 1 in a million chance, what chance do you think you actually have versus everyone else who would have probably deserved it more or less than the person before them, right? So I see it like this. It's not like you completely reject the person and turn them away, but at the same time, to the person that doesn't want to get help, you have to hit them with a reality check. It's like, look, I'm going to tell you like this as it is, and this is what you need to hear, because I believe the people in your life haven't been telling you what you need to hear. And it's like this: you don't fucking get help, you're donezo. And if that's what you want, then, you know, go for it, right? But I won't be here for it. And I believe these are necessary things people have to hear, or at least some people, because there are some people that don't know any better, right? And those are special cases. But I believe in a lot of these instances, there are people that when they go through these tough times, they know better, you know, and they want someone to take care of it for them.
It's not, I get where you're saying, right? But in my opinion, if you put a cap on it, that's where the issue lies itself.
What do you mean
A cap? Like if there's a limitation to, you know, advice is shit taken from your nostalgia that you have dissected and found the valuable sources, and you output that. That's what advice is. But it's one's experience, hopefully, to relate to the person they care about or they're talking to. Me personally, because I know how dark it can get, I don't care how many times I have to try. Now, that could be a fool's ideology, because you might be like, oh, you're wasting your time with that person.
No, honestly,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. But I believe you just have a longer, you have more patience than the average person.
Fair
because,
enough.
you know, based on the things that you've told me, you definitely have a cap. You definitely recognize when it's a lost cause, you know, and it's not like you shut the person out, but you're like, at this point, you're gonna have to come to me, because you know that I'm already here for you.
Yeah.
But I can only drag myself with you for so long, because
because it's a sickness.
No,
people forget sickness, especially depression.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, depression is contagious. Do not get it twisted. Depression is very contagious. If you guys have ever been put in a situation where you're just chilling with that one person, and it's like they suck the life out of you. They didn't have to say much. They didn't even say anything negative, but their whole demeanor is so drained that when they're around you, you can't help but feel connected, and it's draining you. We close ourselves out. But then, I talk to my mom from time to time, and I ask, I don't have kids. And as I said 1,000 times over, I hope you guys, and I'll say this to you guys watching this, your mom, with my experience, the closest I will ever get to God's love on earth is my mother's. And the reason why I say that is because my mother, I ask her all the time, I'm like, why do you keep trying? She's like, they're part of me. My job is done when God calls me home. So imagine, and I think it also comes from culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about culture, we're from the islands, right? Or we're descendants from islands, we're Haitian. I don't know in your culture, but American culture, they push the kids out the house.
Oh yeah.
And families from third world country, they want you to get married before you get out the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can have a girlfriend when you're married.
No, you'll see
You know,
some
like, but it's strict.
yeah, 30
So now
living with their parents.
here's where
Grown families.
here's where it's kind of crazy because it changes your perspective on life when you have that backbone and you know you can go back there.
Yeah.
How independent are you really when you
Yeah.
know, yeah, I could just resort back
Let me-
versus other
Yeah.
like American traditional families. Once you're out, you're out.
That's
Like
weird.
you're gonna fight or flight.
Yeah.
That is
You're gonna
just
have to
weird.
figure it out.
It's weird because at least, you know, in my culture, like a lot of Hispanics, you don't leave the house. You know, you're in it for the long run. You're in it forever with
Yeah.
your parents.
Or
Like my aunt, you know, my dad's sister, you know,
Mhm.
she has her family, you know, typical husband, you know, a son and a daughter, and she has her mother living in the house with her. And you know, she has her own room.
but it's
And,
culture.
and it's culture because she, you know, she helps out with her grandkids, you know, she goes off to work. It's because it's so normalized. And that's on my dad's side, and he's Cuban. And my mom's side, she's Mexican. She grew up with 4 other sisters and one older brother. And you know, she grew up with a single mom. So it was just her mom and all her siblings living in that same house until they were all like 25. And the
Mm.
only way that you leave the house is if you get married. And guess what? 2 of those sisters got married at an early age.
Yeah. But then
And they're still like, some of them are still living together now. And it's like, and it's normal, you know, at least when I
Mhm.
graduate, I hopefully, you know, my good career, I plan on buying my parents a house. And, you know, my sister's still young, so they're gonna obviously live on their own for a while.
Mhm.
But as soon as she gets older, I am saving a space in my house for my parents,
so you're gonna get the
so they can, so we can like
term
stay together.
there's a term they use for it. I think it's like snowbirds or like the mother-in-law state, whatever. Like now they're building houses for that reason. Now, you being a woman, you're young, right? What do you think? Because we talked about therapy, right?
That's a woman.
And therapy, does therapy work? I have to say it does, because if you think about it, like at least in my case, I always find people coming to me telling me the whole life story.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know you, and they're like, "Oh, you just made me feel comfortable." So I feel like, you know, as you get older, you start changing your perception of how you view things. Like everything that I went through that was bad and really challenged me allows me to help those that I love. So it didn't just it happened for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And what you're saying, like, what do you think about men who take their pain, their trauma, and they use it as a foundation? Do you see them burning themselves out? Like, do you see there's like
No.
a tipping point, or do you see that it's something that's hard to the core?
You can't grow as a person without adversity.
Yeah.
You know, there are a
Mhm.
lot of what's happening now is, even though we, you know, there are a lot of people are considering Gen Z to be the first generation to start talking about mental health. I think the reason why it's a slippery slope is because then people start equating everything bad that happens to them as trauma, right? Then everything becomes traumatic, you know? And then it's like,
Well, trauma is like pain, it's subjective.
no, you're absolutely right. Trauma is definitely subjective, right?
Mhm.
What something that's traumatic to somebody else might not mean anything to another person.
Facts.
But here's the thing, because we're in an era now where anything can be considered traumatic, the same thing can happen to me and you, right?
Mhm.
and I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever.
You grounded.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh my God, my life is over.
exactly.
I feel
And then I'll
that.
say, but and then you'll tell me that I'm traumatized, but I'll go, no, I'm not. And you're like, yes, you are, because you experienced that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I experienced it, and I'm traumatized. So that means you're traumatized and you're repressing it. And it's like relax,
just
you know, like
Wait, but
we-
taking that same point,
Mhm.
like how would you build that point around siblings? Because that could be
Ooh.
probably the most.
What do you mean?
like around, I get what you're, geez.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
that would be.
If we're talking about trauma, I guess
Yeah.
the most relatable trauma we can all share
Mhm.
is family trauma.
Yeah.
You know, childhood trauma.
Can't heal in the
imagine-
same place that made you sick.
And imagine being in a family where you have other siblings and
Mhm.
like this event
Yeah.
occurs that is traumatic to one but not the other. So it's like, you know, it's all about perspective, you know.
Yep.
Trauma is subjective because one sibling could have trauma over an event that happened in their childhood and their
Mhm.
other sibling will have no trauma.
The way I see it in regards to those, because you know we've all been through our fair share of trauma. I know I have. I try not to, because if you live in your trauma, then you can't. I don't believe you can really grow, because you know I think that there are a lot of people that use their traumatic experiences
Mhm.
as excuses
To bail out.
Yeah, a bailout to be the way they start. And I know that I myself, that was me when I was starting. No, that was me in middle school.
Okay.
And the reason why I managed to get out of it and just take full accountability for myself and all that stuff is because I was growing up. I wasn't growing up. I wasn't stable enough to be around normal kids. You know, I was literally a danger. They considered me to other kids, so I had to be put in separate classes from like the normal populace of school as a result of that, you know. And in there, you got no breaks. You know what I'm saying? In regards to like, they didn't. It wasn't a slap on the wrist. It was corporate every time, corporate punishment every time. You know what I'm saying?
Referrals at the referrals
No,
at the
not
referrals.
referrals. They would put their hands on you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, like-
teachers. Well,
No,
I,
this
we got
was
discipline.
yeah, this was specific to what I was a part of in school, right? These
Mhm.
teachers were allowed to like physically restrain you and put your hands on you if you start acting out, you know. Then it became a thing of like, even if you weren't doing something that was necessarily deemed bad,
It was triggered.
if it was out of the norm, then you know you get fucking busted up. You know what I'm saying? So realizing and because of that, right? It turned me into someone that's really self-aware of myself and the things that I do, and
Mhm.
incredibly detrimental even, right?
Well, they say trauma is necessary for
No,
you
for
to
growth,
honestly
you know,
grow.
it's
It
honestly
is
for- it's-
necessary.
And honestly, even though it's horrible what happened to me, right?
Mhm.
I'm not mad at it, right? I'm not angry at it, because I know the kind of kid that I was growing up. And honestly, if that shit didn't happen to me early on, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't have the kind of outlook that I have on life, you know, the kind of, it is what it is, do what you can when you can type, you know, try not to hold on to things, because you can only hold on for so long before it becomes a weight on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I believe that everybody needs trauma. Everybody needs trauma, because
There's growth.
where do you see the people who have no trauma, right? Those are the ones that don't know how the real world works. And when they get a taste of it, they shatter at the first blow. You know what I'm saying? And nobody likes those people. Everyone's always making fun of those people. We call them snowflakes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So
no,
bringing that up,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so let's talk about different generations within trauma then,
yeah.
because someone from my generation will look at you and be like, "What the fuck?" No disrespect.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And someone from my brother's generation will be like, "Yo, what the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, is trauma necessary? Yeah, it builds character. Do people use to bail it out? Yeah, but like you said, that's a slippery slope. How do you? Okay, say somebody uses like, "Yo, I'm always like, I'm going through something." Like, "Yo, you're always going through something," and you're like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right." How I process it is different
Yeah.
from how you foresee it. And again, like I say 1,000 times, emotions like liquor, it impairs your ability to be rational and to think straight. See, a lot of people think that it's like only with relationships. No, emotions are emotions, and especially with family, when it comes with trauma and family, there's a lot of resentment and that is held into a high standard that is almost invisible.
Yeah.
And being said, like, if you think about it, right? How most of us want to get out of our house. Why? We want our independence.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with it. Some people might even call that trauma because you're not able to live your full prosperous life. You feel restricted, and that could start doing some damage. So my question to that is like, how would you say would be a healthy way to dissect that? Especially if you're, say you're the man of the house, but there's another male in there, but you're the go-to person. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I think where the pressure comes, at least in my opinion, it's a domino effect, because the day that I give in, it doesn't only affect me. It affects those I care about, because I'm at that totem pole where it's like, yo, the decisions I make for myself ultimately control the outcome for someone else's life. And that could feel like a weight sometimes. I could feel like, like shit, there's a lot of guilt there. It's like, yo, I got to keep going, even though I'm killing myself. It's like being in a relationship with a person who does not love you. You love this person. You are fighting every single fucking day, but you're killing yourself in effort to just love this person or to teach them how to love themselves. It's pretty much like a selfless act. It's selfish because we're not willing to let go because we know to, but it's selfless because we're in hopes. That's where they kind of say don't fall in love with people's potential. Yeah. Because you fall in love with the potential, you'll find yourself in a lot of trouble. Because potential has to be seen by the individual themselves. Yeah. I could tell you like, yo, Ben, you're smart as shit. You could do whatever you want. Why do you act goofy? Why do you do this? Da da da. Yeah. I could get upset because you're not living up to your full potential. It's like when your parents come at you sideways, and as you got older, you understood like, oh shit, okay, our parents are always going to see our highest potential. Yeah. If they're good parents. Because let's be real, there's some parents who are fucking horrible. Now, that being said, they see your full potential. It can sometimes feel like a weight. And the reason it feels like a weight is because your potential's there, but the fire's not ignited the right way. And because it's not ignited the right way, it's like, yo, you're just like this small amber and you're trying to generate heat, but that pure pressure is creating a trauma, which is keeping you in bondage. So you get what I'm saying? Like it's kind of hard to explain it. But
I would see it like this. In regards to what you were describing with your actions affect others, so you feel like a kind of like guilt in regards to what you do. I would say it like this. I think my philosophy in regards to stuff like that is do as much as you can until you can't anymore. And what I mean by that is you should definitely, and this is, I'm just talking to the people, you should definitely if you're helping someone, definitely give them the tools and the avenues to help themselves, right? It should be like, this is how much you're putting in. This is how much they're putting in. And over time, right? It should overtake itself like that, right? Okay. But if and this is where the fucked up part comes in. If it's just like this the entire time, even though like you're still trying to help them do their thing, right? Let's say, are you okay if I speak on your past relationship?
No.
Okay.
Just use the situation. You didn't have to say it was me.
No.
Fucking guy. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Too late now.
No. I mean, because it's not a thing of disrespect. It's more so like
It's an example. I get it.
yeah, because I mean, you've already described it multiple times on the cast
Mhm.
in regards to, you know, trying to show someone their potential,
Mhm.
and you can only help them for so long before you
Okay.
say, look, this is what I believe you can do, and you know that you can do it.
Mhm.
And at this point, you're gonna have to put your foot into the door because it's
Well-
open. I'm opening it for you.
Okay, so if you're gonna take it there, right?
Yeah.
The thing about that you have, and I'm guilty of this. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. You know people,
Yeah.
right? You get to a point, and this is where I feel where being a man is like that double-edged knife where you
Yeah.
stab yourself in the process. To me, as a man, I have to exercise every single fucking option.
That's what I'm
And
saying. That's what I'm saying.
because- But even when but as you exercise every single option, you are killing yourself in the process. It's almost like chemo.
Yeah.
You know, you're killing yourself an effort to keep something alive. But what you're trying to keep alive, it's not in your full control. It has to come from that person.
Exactly. So it's like this. I know that in my heart of hearts, I did everything that I could. I'm
no what ifs.
exactly. I'm gonna let this go now, and this is gonna hurt like hell. But I know that I did everything that I could to bring this to its fullest potential. You can't say that I didn't give you every tool that you needed to get where you deserve to be, where you belong. The only person that was holding you back is you. And now I'm walking away. And I fucking dare you to say that I wasn't in your corner every moment
Well,
of the thing.
well,
And but
I'll say it like this, right? So when it comes to situations like that, I agree. And this is where it's so fucked up to be a guy,
yeah,
because we got to take that L.
you have to.
You got to take an L to make a win. I didn't realize that till I got older. Say it again. In order, as a man, you will learn in life, you have to take an L in order to get a win. And sometimes that L cuts deep, bro. It cuts deep. Because like a lot of people is like, oh, well, you would never leave if you love the person. I'm like, you don't stop loving people.
Yeah.
You may find them repulsive, but if the love is real, you still love them. You're just not in love with them.
You should never allow yourself to
Yeah.
be held emotionally hostage.
Yeah. Love's not supposed to hurt. And that's one thing that men have to understand. That's why, like, when you hear like these red pill guys, it's not real.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a shit what anybody says. There's not a man I have ever came across who is fucking head honcho. Every man wants to be able to lay on the girl's ass and have their head scratched. Some men like to be cuddled, but catered to. This whole facade of being the strong iron block, fucking unfazed person, that's not real. And that's where the game is fucked up, because a lot of young individuals like yourself, that pressure's too deep. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, if you never been diving before,
Yeah.
we know the deeper you go, the tighter, the more compressed the air gets in your chest. It's the same thing when it comes to basically coming into finding yourself and becoming a man, at least in my opinion. That pressure doesn't ease off. It never does. Because as we get older as men, we want to acquire more. We want to do more. Truth is, life was harder when we were younger, bro, because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. It only seems harder now because we know what we want. And because we know what we want, we see the obstacle a lot clearer now.
Yeah.
There's no hidden fact. And the one thing that happens when you know what you want in your life is there's something called accountability, which is people's kryptonite, where you got to look yourself in the mirror. Michael Jackson said it best, the man in the mirror. You got to tell yourself, yo, I fucked up. Nobody wants to tell themselves they fucked up. It is easy as fuck to keep it real with other people. But when you got to keep it real with yourself, the problem is there's balance, because you could I'm speaking from experience. You could beat yourself the fuck up beyond reason. Sometimes you blame yourself for somebody's death. You blame yourself for somebody's failure. And we eat that because the emotions were tied to it. And as we eat that, we just keep it suppressed to a point it starts spilling over. And now we're fucked.
Yeah.
But it was a choice.
I think
You get
it's
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because it was our choice, it's hard. And I think like when it comes to men's mental health, you know, here's the truth. And I'm going to say it very clear. We are expected to be men and taught by men, right? But I had said before, what did your mother do? We'll use you as an example, right? Answer honestly. Did your mother teach you how to love a man, or did she teach you to be independent? And that's where the disconnect comes in. And it's not to take shots at women, but the truth is, men receive our first love 9 out of 10 times is our mother. But the women out here were not taught by their mother how to love a man. That is such a strong disconnect, and I can't express that enough. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is, mind you, I didn't have really a male role model. I didn't. I had to figure it out. I went through a lot of hardships by myself. God damn, yo, I'm fucking proud of myself. I don't give a fuck. I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're cute.
Shut up.
I would like to point out that about what you said, I was thinking on it, and like you said, our moms don't really teach us how to love a man.
But
then I was thinking,
their trauma.
do they teach us how to love people, like our friends, like how to handle these emotions? And then I started thinking when it comes to these types of emotions, like I remember every time, you know, let's say I had a problem with my significant other as a teenager, or maybe a fight with a friend, you know, I can hear my dad clear as day say, oh, you know, like thinking back on it now, he would probably reminisce on like, wow, like, you know, I wish those were the only problems I had. You know, obviously as a grown adult, you have other issues. So like if I talk about my teenage issues with my dad, you know, I can just hear him say like, oh, I wish I had those problems. You have it so easy. Just forget about it, you know. Or
That's why I tell my sister, whenever she comes to me with her problems, I'm like, yo, look, you need to understand that as soon as you graduate, none of that shit's gonna fucking matter, nigga. All those fucking motherfuckers that are giving you problems in class or whatever,
Okay.
bro, the people that you know in high school, 98% of them you're never gonna fucking see again.
I've never seen.
This is facts.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is
bro, like
facts.
literally, but you'll know who the real ones are after graduation.
Yeah.
Promise you down on fucking everything.
No,
nigga.
but let you know, not to go off on a tangent, but you know, whether you know this information, you know, is true. The point is, I don't remember like my parents actually teaching me
How to love a man.
how to properly love and care for a person, like as in
That's
like
a person in general.
like yes, which can also go hand in hand with relationships, you know.
Okay.
I remember lots of lectures my teachers in high school would give us, you know. Sometimes they would always love going off on life tangents and teaching us life lessons, which I really valued a lot. And thinking on it, it's like, okay, if you build a solid foundation on how to care for the people around you as a kid coming of age, as a teenager, you can then establish those same concepts to a relationship and even take it a step further. So like if our parents taught us how to properly care about a person, like, you know, oh, you love your abuelita, right? You love your family, you love your friends. Once in a while, show your appreciation. Say thank you, give them a hug if that's what
Courtesy.
they like. Give them a thank you note,
Not my
or
mom.
give them like a little flower, you know, that you pick from like a garden, you know, like it's these like little like small things. And so just to show your appreciation, or be there for your friends. If you see that they're sad, ask them what's wrong. Don't be so judgmental. You know, if you teach them these things, then when you're in a relationship, you kind of already know the foundation. And then you take it a step further with loving your partner in their love language, you know, caring for them,
Agreed.
communicating with them.
But I will say, is it safe to say that men are wired different because most of us were raised by our mother? And because we were raised by our mother, we were taught how to treat a woman, but we weren't basically taught to what to expect from a woman. Because if you think about it, we've been shielded. You know, our mom gave us love and all that and whatnot. But in the real world,
Can't agree.
it's like, well, and we're talking majority of the cases.
Oh yeah, I mean, my
know-
mom
Mhm.
tried her best, right? But I would say that dealing with my mother,
Mm.
and now that I'm older and dealing with her, now that I'm older, I'd say is one of the best representations of how to deal with women. And not just
Well, dissect that
she
carefully.
just sat up a bit straight when I said that. She sat up a bit straight when I said that. Check this out.
Better dissect this one because they don't come for you.
If you have a relationship with your mother, whether it's good or bad, right? That's gonna affect the kind of women that you bring into your life, right?
Mm-hmm. How a man treats his mother is how he's going to treat this girl. 9 out of
Exactly.
10 times.
So it's like this. The way your mother is, it affects how you're gonna affects the kind of women that you bring into your life, and how you're gonna deal with the unique situations that only come about when you are with a woman whom you love, right?
Okay.
And so, you know, sometimes, you know, your mothers treat you, some mothers kind of treat you like a miniature husband. You know what I'm saying? Not in the way that single mothers treat their kids.
Well, single mothers cause trauma on
No,
most of your kids because they put too much responsibility.
exactly.
Like, I don't need a man. I have my son. Now he hears that and he feels the weight of the world that I got to protect my mom. I got to provide for my mom. You're fucking them up.
So let's put that
in my opinion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so what I mean by that is, like, when dealing with your mother, and as you get old and you continue to deal with your mom, you should then realize what are triggers for women and how to make women happy. Because I would like to believe that most men's first instance with pleasing a woman, not in that sense, but pleasing a woman comes from their mother, you know,
making her proud,
making her happy, proud, and all that stuff. You know, learning how to say just the right thing to make her
have
laugh,
something to show face,
you know,
for.
Exactly, you know, and damn, I forgot what was the point that I was making? Oh yeah, mothers are men's first instinct of how to treat women. All right, and so,
but that representation, of how to treat women, right? I think that's where we kind of get screwed up as men, because just like in my opinion, women were not taught how to love men by their mothers. They were taught to go to school, be independent. Whatever trauma they witness or they experience, they don't want. And I firmly believe it comes from the 1950s, from those years. And the reason why I say that famous actress, how does it feel to get divorced? I'm no longer falling in the shower. That's a reference to domestic violence.
Yeah.
So a lot of times from the 50s,
you have to think about like this. In the 50s, this was before. You know, like
you smack a woman in front of everyone. Nobody's like.
But here's the thing: shit fucking sucked for everybody in the 50s, and it was unfortunate because mental health wasn't even really. Nigga, we didn't understand the brain like that in the 50s. Yeah, literally.
Swallow it.
It was, you know, back then we were close to barbarians, right? And unfortunately, this is why things are the way they are now, because when you don't give men an outlet,
it suppresses and it just gets worse and worse.
It becomes worse to the people in their lives.
But
you know,
but the point of that is, you take the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, even all the way up to the 90s.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen that one aunt, that one cousin who didn't get an education, who didn't do what she was supposed to do, you know, because she put her faith into her husband. And when that dude dogged her out, she had nowhere to go. She had no traits. She had no skill set. So imagine your mom witnessing that from her growing up as a kid, where she saw a family. A lot of times our parents don't want bad things for us. Yeah. And because we understand that, yes, this world is very misogynistic, still in certain parts of the world. Rest in civilization, we're updated, but we have a false sense of direction, in my opinion.
No, we definitely do.
And that being said, it's like, okay, you see that. So I don't want my daughter dependent on no man. but you're setting your daughter up for failure. It's like when I had that talk with you, not to go on a different subject, is like, you know, make sure I understand you're in school, but count your years. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say count your years is you're only getting older.
Yeah.
You need to honestly understand you have to make choices in life. And there's a lot of women I know
You can't have it all.
who
Tell you that
are
much.
going to school, got their degree. Guess what? They're 35 fucking years old. The time they had to build,
Yeah.
they failed at.
No, but here
And the reason I say they failed at is because they were misguided.
yeah.
Because yeah, your parents will tell you, yeah, be independent and get that. But now you're up in age, you can't even bear children.
Yeah.
You know, the risk is too much, or you got to do that FV injection.
I would
the
see
hold on.
Yeah.
The psychological part on men, to bring it back, the peer pressure. I said it before. All you women have to do is show up. But when you're talking about a young dude, yo, just raise your hand for the two men in this room, besides myself. How many times have you chilled with your shorty and the thought of mine comes, how am I going to provide for this woman? How am I going to give her a life she deserves? Have you guys ever sat down and thought like that?
How am I? No. How? No. When
Okay.
is the
Like the confidence.
Wait,
no,
what
no,
did you say?
no.
What did you say?
When it's not how, because I don't have a doubt in my mind that I'll get there. It's just when. Honestly, I
like
yeah.
the reason why I say how.
No, but I know what you mean. I
because
know what you mean. Though. I know. What you mean.
It's more of that peer pressure is there, and that's also something that fucks us up mentally.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, if men can't provide, we get the short end of the stick. You know, that pressure, and it gets lonely as fuck, bro. It gets lonely as fuck. I got some homies out there who are completely disconnected.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't feel they qualify for the type of shorty they want, or you know what I'm saying? They're not the nickel looking for a dime, but the other way around is different. So when you have that mental strain on you, imagine what that does to somebody as they get older, you know, because when you get into a relationship, you understand there's a biological clock clicking, but I feel that, in my opinion, women don't understand we have a financial clock. You know, that financial clock fucks us up, because just like you have a certain time period of when you could bear children, we have a certain time period of where we're going to be in life. And that stress alone is cancer to us, because society has deemed it. We have to provide. We have to be the ones to take the whole. We're designed that way. And that's all across the world.
Yeah, the moment that no longer becomes relevant is when we're gonna fucking start living off of like universal basic income, and then the government will be in complete control, dumb shit like that.
Well,
I was gonna say something something that you had said. I'm trying to
You said a lot of things.
he did say a lot of things.
Good luck trying to.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. When you were like the guy that doesn't feel like he deserves the woman that he wants, I would say it like this: that is nobody's fault but their own. Because it's like this. It's like if you knew you wanted this caliber of person, what were you doing to where you weren't that caliber of person that deserves it? And what I mean by that is, like, I get it, life happens, right? But the number one, the thing is, for a majority of people, when they want something, they make it happen, right? When somebody really wants something, they make it happen. Nothing can stop it, you know? When people want to make time for something, they make that time. Like I remember for myself, when I was like doing art, or like making music, or like hitting the gym and stuff like that, I would be sitting down doing whatever, and I just think to myself, damn, I could be doing something more productive right now than just fucking sitting on watching videos on YouTube. Like, these videos are still gonna be here. Let me go do this thing for like an hour or two.
Well,
come back to doing nothing.
To rebuttal on that, I don't disagree.
That's where discipline comes in.
No, there's always discipline, but
you need to be able to.
You could try to go for something, and this is where you have to be a realist. It may not happen.
No, you're
The
absolutely right.
satisfaction is knowing you gave it your all. And I think the same thing applies to what, type of women you're into, type of relationship you're looking into. We got this one actually went in a little bit deep. We got to do final thoughts on it. So, final thoughts on mental health and what do you think needs to change? Final thoughts.
Be nice.
Nah, be real.
I guess.
No, I mean, ultimately, like, bro, you can only blame life for so much. You can only equate to the things not going the way that you want to other people and other things for only so much before it comes down to what are you doing, right? And I believe there are plenty of people that when they find themselves in a hard situation and you ask them, what have you been doing? And they're like, I've been doing everything I could. But then it's just like, my answer to that is always this, because to the have you really though? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you really, to the people that, because there are people, and we're talking about mental health and depression and suicidal thoughts, stuff like that. And I'm not downplaying any of that because it's a very serious thing. But there are people who sometimes are blinded to the fact that they aren't giving themselves their due credit in regards to being capable of doing something, right?
They're making themselves handicapped.
Exactly. Like they're not allowing themselves to see the light at the end of the tunnel because they think it's so hopeless. You know what I'm saying? So that pulls it back to, you can only push so much before like there's so, right. So it's like you can only help them so much. So ultimately, people need to realize that at the end of the day, support comes in various different avenues, right? It's not always going to be the pat on the back, you can do this. Sometimes it's going to be
tough
real.
love.
Yeah. Sometimes it's going to be real. Sometimes it's going to hurt.
Okay.
But what you need to do is look inward, right? You cannot be afraid to be real with yourself, right? I can honestly say some of the lowest points in my life, I got out of it because I just kept it 100 with myself. And I was like, look, this is what it is. And this fucking sucks, but you're going to stay here if you don't do something about it. And what you have to do is also going to suck. But believe me, you'll feel so much better once you're on the other side. And that has been the truth 100% of the time, every single time that I've taken action whenever I felt myself falling down, right?
Okay.
You have to realize that only you can save you. And you also can't be afraid to let other people help. And it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, but it is incredibly doable, right? I'm dealing with a situation, not me personally, but like someone in my life I'm dealing with that he is lost right now. Honestly, he's fucking lost, and I'm scared for him. But there's only so much that I can do if he doesn't want to seek help. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that I'll say as well is that if you truly find yourself like in the dark, find Christ. Like honestly, find God. It doesn't have to be Christianity.
No, I always say whatever you feel is greater than yourself, that is your God.
Find God. Trust me, because like this, if you really are hopeless, if nothing is actually working,
that's going to help you.
Yeah, what are you going to lose if you try to find God? What are you going to lose, right? If you're
more to gain than to lose.
If you're depressed and you're all fucked up in the head, and you're fucked up in the head, and you think it's hopeless, right? And you say you've tried everything, try God, and I promise you,
won't disappoint.
He has a more successful turnover than any fucking
undefeated.
Literally undefeated.
Undefeated.
You find God, and you will find new light, because that's what, I don't mean to sound like an evangelist, but that's what happened to me.
That's real talk.
When I found God, it just clicked, and I was like, damn, dude, now I don't have worries, right? I have goals. And if I don't fucking reach it, it's like what it wasn't meant to be. It's not like I'm not passive in my life, right? I proactively do things to make stuff happen. But if it doesn't work,
Wash your hands.
yeah, God took care of it. You wouldn't believe how many problems he has just lifted out of my hands. And I'm just like, thank you, Lord. Right. And at the same time, right, when you ask for strength and when you ask for wisdom and patience, all that stuff,
You're gonna get challenged.
You're gonna get challenged. He doesn't give it to you. He gives you opportunities to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, and I sometimes I forget it, right? And then when I find myself in a challenging situation, I'm like, damn, this is exactly what I asked for. So now I have to see it through. And I promise you, you will find happiness in that. Happiness isn't a state of perpetual being. You have to be low, you have to be mid in order to be high, or else
You have to experience the lows to embrace the highs.
or else it won't matter. Literally, if you're just happy all the time, it's no different than just being, you know. So if you tried everything, find Christ. That's all I have to say.
What about you, Nate?
Very well said.
Very well said.
That really did touch me. That was very inspirational. And it's funny because my mom said a similar thing. You know, we were talking about that. How, you know, sometimes my mom and I, we reminisce back in the good old days, and you know, my mom's Catholic, and I grew up Catholic. You know, I was baptized and had my first communion, and so you know, she was just telling me about this stuff and how I should actively go to church more. And so I was telling her that I don't like going to church, not for the reasons because of God, but
Mhm.
because I have a short attention span. And I've had some experiences with priests that are very monotone, and I'll fall asleep, I won't pay attention. And I just feel like that it feels disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to go to church, I want to go to like actually engage
You want to be
and listen,
Yeah.
not just to go because it feels like a chore.
Yeah. No, I
Just
don't go to
because-
church.
Just because
so.
I don't go to church doesn't mean
Yeah.
I don't believe in God, because I
well,
do.
your body is the temple,
temple, yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have everyone has like my relationship with God. Me and him getting in arguments. Like people think I'm joking when I get in arguments with God
Oh
all
my
day. I'm like,
God.
man, what's your problem, bro? Like, why you choose me? Leave me alone. But you know,
No, yeah.
but
And
I
yeah.
agree with you 100% on that. I
And
definitely do.
honestly, you know, struggling with mental health, it's not easy. I know it's not. So I would like to say that I'm proud of anyone who does take the first step and admitting that they have a problem and seeking help, because
Mhm.
that's always the hardest step, is admitting
Yep.
that there's something wrong, because our brain does a very good job of masking or trying to mask our pain, or
Mhm.
trying to, you know, subconsciously take our bad thoughts away, you know, and whatnot.
Compressing.
Yeah, mine's
compressing.
doing a pretty good job at it so far.
Mine's doing a great fucking job.
You know, so I'm proud of it for the people who are actually taking the first step into seeking help. And it's not an easy road, it's not an easy journey, it's not
Mhm.
quick, but it does pay off in the end. I mean, yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tina.
Okay.
Ring with Ben
Yeah.
10.
Well, we're
And
gonna
then
do
this
something
emoji.
different. I don't care if we get
We're gonna
flagged
pray.
for this. Yeah, we gonna pray. I don't care.
Wait, why would we get flagged
So-
for this?
Because you're not allowed to do that. So
Oh,
as we hold
really?
hands, yeah, they really will.
Like
they'll
on
probably-
YouTube?
Lewis, get in this bit.
No way.
So we're actually
Sit in
gonna
the chair.
pray right now.
I don't believe it. But aren't there like
Yeah, there is, but
sermons? Is that what it's called?
Because it's a podcast, you have to be careful. Well,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know the rules.
so as you know, as we bow our heads, dear Father God, we thank you for the opportunity that we've been given today. We thank you for being able to wake up. We thank you for the days you let us make it home. We thank you for the lessons that we've been given. We ask for patience. We ask for love. We ask for truth. We ask for peace. And we ask for patience. We pray for those that we have lost, those that were sick, those that were not strong enough. We ask you to help us complete our goals, to find our purpose. We ask you for mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 And it's your gearhead, Mr. Logic. You can find me at Logic142 at Instagram. Where can they find you, love?
You can find me on Instagram, Natalie, Natalie, but 2 I's and 2 E's _01.
All right.
You already know what it is. Find me at Sir Daniel Ben on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You already know what it is.
And as you know, this is one thing for sure, two things for certain, baby. Let's go.
Walk with Christ. Find God. Trust me.